is up, and welcome back to Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. Another special one for you today. As you know, the Olympics are going on. We had this man on during our Olympic track and field preview. Y'all loved him. Welcome back, Coach Herbert Johnson of the Herbert Johnson Track and Field Academy right here in Charleston, South Carolina. Coach, what is going on? Got the shirt
since 1976, guys. I've been at it a while.
Looking
it's fantastic.
Fresh.
Thanks for having me back. You are really courageous.
Oh, man.
To put me back on. But hey, if you can take it, I love it.
They can't get us both.
No, not at the same time. We don't ride in the same vehicle.
So we are braving Tropical Storm Debbie right now, inundating us with rain because we have got to talk about what's been going on in track at the Olympics. We got to start right off the rip. Men's 100 meters. What a race that was. Photo finish.
Incredible. Incredible race. Noah Lyles, whatever it takes to get you hyped up for whatever you're going to do. I think people get too much into worrying about, hey, he's got a green shirt, he's saying this, saying that. Hey, brother, whatever I have to do to get into your head and my head, that's acceptable. Except, vulgarity to me. And if some people want to be vulgar, that's up to them. We don't send them there in order to be choir boys or to be a social guardian. We send them there to win medals. That's why they're famous. We don't know anything about their private life. All of them might kick dogs for all we know when they're home in private. Of course, I don't think they're going to do that to you, Diamond. I know you ain't going to take it. But the race was fantastic. Noah Lyles was patient. Now, when you are that far behind, and we're talking about world-class sprinters who've already beaten you through rounds and who can run. You can see the times they've run before. But you go through every step of your race, all of the phases, all through the entire race, up to 60 and 70 meters, you're still running your phases. If you look at his face, it's nothing. He's going through his phases. Now, you go and look in the other lane over there with Fred Curley and with Kishane Thompson and everybody, Simbini and all of them, and they look like they're biting walnuts. And Fred Curley put so much pressure on Kishane Thompson. We talked about it, and you're probably going to get on it with him. I don't know whether he's telling the truth or not. If he is, I know his coach doesn't like it, and his coach needs that running up and then chilling down at about 30 meters left in a race. Your body does what you train it to do.
Yeah, so let's talk about let's get into that, because Noah Lyles, incredible patient race. I think he was last through at least 40 meters.
Oh, no, they had it on. He was up to 60 meters. He was
really
still
60 meters. Good Lord. Yes. So last through 60, able to get Kishane at the line. Hurricane Kishane, incredibly talented sprinter, looked fantastic through the rounds.
One of the biggest sprinters I've seen in it. I mean, that guy's a Sopher Powell elongated. That's a big man.
Big dude. So what y'all get when Coach is on is basically a video version of me and Coach's phone conversations. So I'll let you behind the scenes of a real conversation we had. The last preview in the comments, all I'm seeing, Hurricane Kishane, man runs 9.7. Even when he shuts it down, runs 9.7. I'm seeing the heats, Hurricane Kishane running easy, shutting it down. Comes out, says something to the effect of, my coach hadn't even let me run a full race yet. All this. I'm hearing all this. I'm seeing all these comments. Alarm bells start ringing in my head. And I ask you, Coach, okay, it's great that he's so fast that he can shut it down and cruise the final 20, 30 meters. But what happens if he needs to run the final 20, 30 meters?
Your body does what you trained it to do. And it seems like you just take one, people think you take one step and then you go to the next gear. It takes about 5 or 6 strokes before your body is actually going to go to the next speed. So even when he shut it down, he didn't shut it down in 100. He couldn't shut it down last night. He couldn't shut it down at the Olympics. Shirley was pressing him. He got to where he would normally get ready to shut it down, and his body was saying, "We're done." I think you made reference. We have won the Olympics. We are over. We're going to cruise in. And he had to fight. And if you look at him from 80 meters on, look at his face, look at the tension in his chest and arms compared to what he was running in the previous rounds, and look at his running like that. He never saw Lyle because Sambini was blocking Lyle. Matter of fact, nobody saw Lyle. If you were in the stands, that's correct. No one in the race saw Noah Lyles. And when they came across the line, I thought Kishane had won.
Yeah.
I didn't look at Noah Lyles anymore. At about 50 meters on, I stopped looking at Noah Lyles because you can't get back from there.
You and the NBC announcer, he thought it too.
Yes, you can't get. And when he started holding his hand up in the air while they were looking at the board, I was saying to my mind, boy, this is going to be super embarrassing for you when you have to go back and realize with all these cameras that you actually didn't win. But when I cut my TV back so I could see slow motion the last 20 meters. And as I was looking at the last 20 meters, that was incredible. That was incredible. That's not just one of the greatest races. That's probably the greatest race he ever ran. But I dare anybody to show me a greater race this is one of the fastest. 8 of those men last night, 6 of those 8 men made personal best this year. Okay, at that race, if you go back and look at what they did, they either have season best or that's their personal best. I know it's their season best for 6 of them. Only Omanyala and Kishane didn't go faster than they have this season. Lyles and the rest, everyone were faster this year. This was the fastest race of the year at the Olympic Games. And you'll be hard pressed to see 1st through 8th and really put anything between them. Except the young man that quit, he gave up.
Oblique
Seville, just at the line. And I don't think that he actually just didn't want to run the race, but he realized, and it's such a crushing feeling. He probably really had medal contention in his head and really thought that he was going to win. And that didn't happen. At that moment, seeing everyone over the line and you're not there yet, yeah, that was a draining come to Jesus moment, as we say, and it just overwhelmed him. It wasn't, I know if he went back, he would have never done that again. He would even dive to try to get through. But in the moment, it's too much in the moment. Another thing about being in the Olympics, when Kishane was running, great race, would have been one of the greatest races of all time, not time-wise, as fine as one of the greatest races of all time, man for man, going at it. I think if you played that race tomorrow, shuffle the deck.
Yeah.
You get that first 3, Curly, Kishane, and Lyles, shuffle the deck. But it ain't tomorrow. If you kept running that race over and over, you're going to get 3 different runners continually within that. The others are not going to ever be in it. They just were beaten. But that was a fantastic race. If you can't, another thing to young kids and to young coaches, there's a difference between shutting it down, which takes energy to do. You wouldn't believe, you think that that's not energy, that you don't take energy to shut down. If I run at top speed or get anywhere close to top speed, and then I start to slow myself down so that I don't continue to run through that takes energy. That wastes energy too. We used to call what we call a float. You would run at top speed, you would continue in the same cadence, but you wouldn't be putting any effort in. And the cadence of your hands just relaxingly going back, using the stretch reflex, and just letting the hands throw through. And you could probably do that for about 7, maybe 5 meters. A good floater for the 100 would probably, just before they got to the line, do that. Just stop making effort, keep cadence up, and maybe float across 7 meters in. But these guys aren't floating. And you use the float in the 200, but we're not going to get into that right now. These guys are not floating. These guys are running at top speed and then trying to show each other, I don't have to run hard. And then they just start doing craziness. Hands drop. Heads start turning around. You teaching you, all right, okay, that's what you want to do. And that cost him, I don't know, 5 billionths of a second. Because when he did it, he trained it for, if what he's saying is true, his coach trained him like that the entire year with never the expectation of when you get pressed, you're going to have to run and your body is not going to do that. And that's what happened. And they can go back to the drawing board. I guarantee you, you'll never get him to do it again.
Because you could see it too with Curly pressing him. There was a point where you could see Kishane's face like, oh, wait a second. It didn't look the same as in the heats when he was cruising. And it was, he basically turned into like a giant bicep. Basically, like you could see him just tense up and he's just trying to hold on. And we would second guess it. We would talk about it no matter what. But when you lose the gold medal, then it really turns into a what if game because it's that much of a margin between you and history and a legacy.
Wow. Hold 1 second for me, Brandon. Just 1 second.
So is that small of a difference between losing and having a legacy, being Olympic champion? So now we have to go back and look at where it all went wrong, as talented as he is, because based on the clock, he is the fastest man, but there's a difference between being the fastest man and winning races. And Noah Lyles went out there and won that race.
And Noah Lyles had the slowest reaction time of all of the athletes out of the starting blocks. If you took the race, let's say instead of us focusing on the ending, if I told you that a coach was telling you, look, start slow at the beginning, and then at the end, you'll turn it on. And then everybody would say, you must be crazy. All right, I would be crazy then. So when you practice, just step out of the block and then start running hard, as opposed to just run hard and then start running slow. Then that's going to help you. I'm going to teach you how to conserve energy. Look here, if you can't conserve energy in 100 meters and you've been practicing for this all your life and you're at the Olympic Games, why are you running? Why are you running? You know how many rounds it is. You practice for it. And you're telling me the way he was beating people that you could not have cadenced yourself across the line? And the answer would be no, because I don't practice that. Noah Lyles, on the other hand, I don't know if he had his worst start, but in comparison to the others, he had his worst start. And that cost him what he was doing. And for those who see me being interrupted here, if it's still in, my granddaughter's here. We went to see dinosaurs, Jurassic Quest yesterday. She doesn't want to be on camera. She's playing with the dog. She has invaded here. And now she wants her Kindle because the password is dead. And I only know it.
Coach is a decathlete of a man. He's coaching, he's grandfathering, he's doing it all. Very impressive.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But like you can see why Kishane was talked about, but that is also why
Oh,
the lack of experience kind of worried me too, because I don't know when it comes to winning races. Yes, you're fast, but can you handle? This is the Olympic Games, and another. I believe his coach Francis also coached Asafa Powell, one of the
oh,
best sprinters of all time. Has the most sub-10 races in the history of the sport. He also does not have an individual Olympic medal.
wow. Oh my goodness, man. That's bringing. Asafa Powell is a great sprinter. You know how we count great sprinters. I mean, echelon Hall of Fame type things. Yeah, that's great. You did all the things William had.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after you give us all the medals you have, where is your Olympic medal? And then if you want to be really on the top of the totem pole there, then where's your gold medal? Now that's how we added one Olympic gold medal to 12 world championship medals. Outside of the real world of track and field, no boy and girl out there now who doesn't run track or is in college running track. Nobody says, I want to be the world champion. No one. Most times you can go to meets where the world people who are top in the world don't even show up to the world championship meet in different events. They don't even come. They're like, especially in a year preceding an Olympics, they're like, man, I'm going to train myself through to the Olympics. I'm messing with this. So you have to have that Olympic medal, and then you have to have that gold medal, period. And if you don't have that, Jamaica doesn't know it, but I've been coaching since 1976. They are in the American zone. And if you want to know where the American zone is, the Americans are coming out of it now. All of your sprinters except for Thompson you are almost now Tyson Gas, where you got one sprinter, the rest of them have potential, and they can't do it yet. And if you think Fred Curley, with Guyton coming up, with Ben Derrick just trying to find himself, he isn't there yet. With Noah Lyles, those four by themselves, with Coleman in a delirium now, who's going to have to go back like Noah Lyles and redistribute his race from the back to the front. He's going to have to work on his race that last 20 to 30 meters of his race, like Lyles had to work on his first 20 to 30 meters of his race. So the Americans are loaded. They haven't decided who's king yet, because even though Lyles won, he did not win in a fashion that would bring the others to say in the 100, we can't get you.
Yeah.
We can still get you. The Jamaicans right now have everything on Kishane with the rest of them potentials who got obliterated. You look into your women, who I love, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and what she was doing. She is the queen, but the queen has abdicated her throne. Hurrah is finished. Jackson
That was
is
an
probably the best of
interesting.
you. Yes, and I don't. Okay, so she's hurt, and the young lady Clayton, that everyone. This was the Olympic Games. You found out that it doesn't work like that, which the Americans found out too. We sent many
Oh yeah.
phenoms, and boy, they're going to do something and get there, and they don't show up. They do their best, and they run great races, and they can run great rounds, but that's not the Olympic finals. And we test you by the Olympic finals. And I'll say something else. Wait until the relays come. With that American team in the 4x1, both men and women, and the Jamaicans in the state that they are now, I don't know what you're going to do, really. I don't see them beating the Americans. I don't see anybody beating the Americans. Heck, they might not beat Great Britain. And in 4x4, the Americans better run, because on the women's side, we might not beat the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Femme Cabot run another relay for a long time.
She is a machine. Going back, Jamaican women, saw a stat today, No Jamaican women will medal in the Olympic 200 for the first time since 1976.
Well, wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Tell me
then
when they're gonna. So I would like the other stat or the other question to be, well, when do you expect that to happen in 2028? Because Alfred is just coming into her own.
yeah.
She just found out that she can run. She might have her coach knew she could run, and she might have in her hope knew that she could run, but she just found out I can run. All right. Gabby Thomas, this is gonna be a 200. Can she run the American? We don't know. We don't know what Gabby Thomas is going to do when she finally gets there without the fastest woman in the world against the suspected fastest woman in the world in the 200. Who knows what's going to happen? Plus, Ophelia's out there in the two. So I don't know where the Jamaicans, within the next 2 or 3 years, maybe somebody is there that's going to blossom. But I'm not just talking about the Jamaicans. Alfred is going to be a problem in the 1 and the 2 for a while. And Sha'Carri them just found out how much of a problem. And if she starts working on that 200 by going 400 strong and coming back, then you're going to really have a problem.
So I was watching the 200 heats today. Alfred, you can see the confidence coming off her now. After winning St. Lucia's first medal, it was gold. You can see her running that way. Gabby Thomas went 21-8, I believe, in her heat. But
Great
Alfred,
run.
ooh, yeah, like what was it? Because there was obviously the controversy about Shelly-Ann and Sha'Carri not getting into the warm-up area. Don't know if that
I don't
led
want to hear
to
I don't want to hear it. Just the Olympic Games, and those people are 10,000 years of running. They have had every kind of obstacle to tell them what they should have had a hook like Batman, throw it on the side and climb up the darn side of the building and get in and just how can that upset
you? So that's why I was going to ask you, because when we talked on the phone, you mentioned a quote from Alfred's coach, or she was talking about what her coach said. What was her coach saying about the race? Because it was not ideal conditions for that women's 100 either.
Her coach had already told her that it could come down to the rain. It could come, well, you don't want to talk about how the rain destroys something, but anyway, it could come down to the rain. So they're expected that running in the rain. I don't know if people run in the rain anymore. I don't. I'm not being facetious. When it rains, they have the practice. Practice is over. You know, lightning, yeah, I can understand that. Rain, get your butt out there and run. Now, I'm not one to tell the kids to run in the rain and I sit on the side now. If they're running in the rain, I'm in the rain too. Okay, so that we're standing up in the rain. And you know, I don't wear rain gear in the
No.
rain if the kids are running in the rain. All right, because if I tell you to go out there and do it, I know I ain't gonna run. But I can tell you that's not going to happen. But I'm going to be there too. Our throwers throw in the rain. Monsoon, they muddy throw. No lightning, we are throwing. There's no practice, does not stop for rain. So you get a lot of people as they get to a certain level, they're not prepared for any kind of adversity. A person talked to me wrong. I'm the Olympic champion. They should bow down to me. They didn't. Now you mad. You got no time to be mad. You getting ready to run an Olympic Games. So whatever the contingency is on the level of a Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce or one of them, don't worry about it. You stay right there. The president of the Olympic Committee, I cannot get in the stadium. I'm talking to my people and my people. I'll tell you, I know someone on that out there has got a phone that'll call down there and say, what's your name? Well, you finished for the day. And she'll get it.
Like, oh, I couldn't imagine. Like Shelly-Ann, you're not letting Shelly-Ann it. Like that was crazy. Number one, but the rain comment and having your routine disrupted during warm up, it kind of ties back into the conversation we got about Kishane, about you got to train to be prepared for whatever is thrown at you, because it doesn't matter. Your competitors don't care. You got 4 years to wait. If it's a problem, you got come back 4 years and we'll see if things are different. But there's no guarantee it's going to be different than neither. So you got to be ready and you got to train for every scenario.
No guarantee you ever coming back.
Yeah.
Okay? You're not guaranteed that you are ever coming back again. So you have to be strong-minded as to what are you going to do. You can't use energy on things that are not what you have to do. And at their level, they have a support system. And if the people say walk 100 yards, now this is from another Olympian that I was talking to today, and she said that the young lady from Brazil who won the one of the floor exercises, I think she won the floor exercise, got a gold medal. I'm not sure if it was the floor. I know it wasn't. I don't believe it was the vault. And she said, you know, that young lady walks the 2 miles from her place to the practice area and then walks back. Now, me as a coach would be saying, you can't use up your legs like that doing it. But she probably said, the time I have to be there, when I want to be there, you all ain't on my schedule, I'm going to walk. Okay? You have to be prepared and decide what are you here for? I don't believe that it's got to be a little bit more to that. Yeah, they had it on there where I think somebody had it on a Facebook or something that they were going, but let me tell them another thing. It wasn't going to make any difference. Shelly-Ann was not going to win no medals in the Olympics.
Alfred just looked overpowered. What was so good about her race? Because I remember thinking when they came out for the semis, Alfred was in the same heat as Sha'Carri. I remember Sha'Carri, she seemed off. She didn't seem like herself. I didn't know if it had to do with the fact that this is Olympics, the fact that the warm-up issue she had or what. But she didn't look like herself. Then Alfred came out there, and Alfred was gone. I had not seen, it'd been a while since I'd seen anybody do Sha'Carri like that, and it was the semis. And then coming back in the finals.
I want everybody to go to the finals and the semis and get your little things like you do and go in, look at Sha'Carri Richards' feet in the blocks. And her feet, they're dancing around in the blocks. Okay, they're not enough to take, because you can now move as long as you don't take pressure off the blocks. That's the way that they're doing false start now, is if you take pressure off the blocks. So actually, if I did like that, but I kept my feet in the blocks, that's a false start. And if it's that blatant, you're probably going to call it, but it's not going to be recorded as long as I keep pressing against the blocks. She is dancing on the pads. You could see it's like she's not comfortable on the pad.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna say something about her block work. They need to get her hearing checked. Now, people might think I'm kidding, but I can't see any other reason for her being so late in all of her since the trials, and that's just started happening to that degree.
Yeah.
So I would say get her hearing checked first. Let's make sure that's something that's not wrong. And then do those little things that you do with the reflexes, throw the ball and see if you can catch it and see if it's anything wrong, because at her level, it's hard to me to believe that she would continually just get left. This isn't a regular, we stepped out together and I got left in the blocks. This is a, what are y'all, y'all going type of being left in the blocks.
Especially because, to me, you correct me if I'm wrong, you're the expert, but every other part of her race looks really good.
Yes.
She's just, like you said, she is a half beat, full beat, too late coming out the blocks. And it doesn't make sense for someone to be that bad at starting when they're that good at everything else. I can't wrap my head around that.
It doesn't make sense for athletes at this level, the collegiate level, to be bad coming out of the blocks.
That's true.
Everyone should at the minimum have wow, that's a hell of a block start. If you're on a world-class level. If I shot free throws like athletes in track and field get a pass for coming out of the blocks, I would be sitting on the bench. They shoot free throws like Shaq used to free throws when he first came into the league. Okay, they come out of the blocks like that. How is that possible? I mean, you've been doing this since whenever you started, at least through, let's say, a middle school or at least a high school level. Then you move, if you wouldn't move into college, you had a college type age group working out. Then you get on the world stage. Well, you've been running on the world stage for X amount of years, and you tell me that the announcer is saying, oh, he got left in the blocks. Oh, their block work is not good. Oh, what are they doing in the blocks? Oh, they're stepping to the left and the right in the blocks. Oh, they're popping up too early out of the blocks. Oh, they're not driving out of the blocks. Oh, they're not using people. I would. There's many things we can't do, but we don't come out of the blocks because that sets your race up for going through. And the blocks doesn't mean the first 2, 3, 4 steps, but that's inexcusable. You are a boxer and you have no jab. What? What kind of craziness? I bake a cake without flour. What? I don't want it.
If you don't want it, that's saying something.
Thank you, because I would normally eat it, Pete, and don't even ask what is in it. The cake is green. I will eat it. Okay. Oh my goodness! I didn't even know that green icing wasn't vegetable.
No, it is something that I just, because we saw it all throughout the U.S. trials, and you could talk yourself into thinking, okay, she just doesn't want a false start because she knows she's the fastest and she can let them get gone. But then through the heats and everything too at the Olympics, you're like, okay, this is a real problem.
This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. I don't know what they're going to do to fix it, but I can tell you what, you're not going to beat it. And let me make the world on notice. That young lady Jefferson.
Melissa Jefferson, Georgetown, South Carolina.
From Georgetown, I'll tell you, Gullah Geech, we don't play that there now. You let us get in there and we do something like that there, we ain't even supposed to beat it. When you see us again, you ain't going to see us again because we going to be gone. Now, you mess with that there. Melissa Jefferson, in a couple of years with some more experience and a bigger, more athletic body than the one she has now, she's going to be a problem. She's going to be a problem now.
The way that she handled herself through the rounds for being so young, I'm biased towards experience because this is the Olympics, like we talked about. Like, I got to know that you can do something on a major level before I can trust you. Yes. Or before I'm like, I'll never trust this person again. For her to show up and do it like that first go round, just look unfazed.
Going back to Kishane, he's going to be a talent.
Yeah, he's really good.
How his head accepts this, that doesn't, how his head accepts what just happened. Because that could be a bruise. If I was Noah Lyles, Fred Curley, and Kishane Thompson, y'all gonna wear that till next year. Because I'm not running any meets where you guys are in. I want you to suffer. I want you to dream about what could have been. I want you to try to imagine in your head what I was doing while you was getting ready to throw yourself over the tape so you could hold your hand in the air and say you're the Olympic champion that you never got to do. I want your nightmares over and over. I don't want you to ever, ever, never, ever, ever get a chance to say, oh, I got him 3 weeks later or 2 weeks later, because you're never going to do it. Because I'm never running again until next outdoor season. And I'm never running over where you're running. I'll be pulling out of races because I don't need it. I've got the gold medal. And you can't get one until 2028. And 4 years more of experience with Noah Lyles in America. If you think home kicking is done, every country who has had an Olympic in their place, the countrymen are over the top of their head. Okay. You wait until America comes to America in 2028 with the Olympics. I hope everybody's got their seatbelt on.
That reminds me. So the wildest thing to me about what happened was the first Olympics I remember watching was the last time it was in America, 96 in Atlanta. And
Ah,
to help refresh my memory, I went back because everyone remembers Michael Johnson with the gold shoes, but I was looking at like the sprint events, 96 women's 100 meters. Gail Devers, Merlene Ottey of Jamaica,
ooh, the bronze
photo
queen.
finish at that one too. And they did it before at the 93 Worlds. They did the same thing. And I think Devers got that one too. I know
Yes.
Jamaicans. Now, I did see Jamaica did get 2007 Worlds a photo finish, Veronica Campbell Brown over Lauren Williams.
Ooh, man, stop talking. Now you going back into the box, but oh man.
But I know Jamaica has got to be tired of cameras at this point because it's doing them dirty.
Well, look, they've had about a 12-year span in the women's of total and complete, well, with low hiccups here and there, but domination.
Yeah.
And when you sweep a world-class 100-meter race and you sweep it, look, but they didn't reload, not quickly enough.
Yeah.
They didn't reload. They weren't reloading behind it. Now, and I'm quite sure people say, well, there's a limitation with the funds that they have. And I believe that's a true statement. So they weren't able to reload. They're putting all their eggs in this basket here, and we're going to run this basket until this basket runs out. But at some point, you have to look and see this basket is running out, and can you turn it over before the basket is gone? Had even Shelly-Ann ran this year, it wasn't going to do anything there. Jackson, though, had a possibility that if the basket was there, that she could probably hold on to another big event until the others come up. Now there is the world is getting away. That grouping of young ladies, this new grouping, the guard is changing of Thomas, Alfred, Sha'Carri, Jefferson. They got distance runners, Hodgkinson. They got people
Yeah.
now I have never even, they were in the back of the pack 4 years ago, 6 years ago. You're looking and now you're seeing them come up and it's changing. And if somebody doesn't get out there, their distance, their throws are getting better, then the jumps are getting much better, but jumps take speed. So you might have your speed in the long jump, triple jump area, whereas it would have been in the track before. You might have sacrificed it because there are not but so many people, and you don't have but so many athletes, and you don't have so much money. So that plays a thing into it. But if you're going to get on the big stage and talk the big talk, then you got to walk the walk. And when it's your turn to get kicked in the face, accept dang shoestrings and wait until it's your turn to kick back. Because right now, you just got kicked in the face.
It was just shocking to see because of how Usain Bolt really changed how I think we look at men's track because like he did the 100 and 200, what is it, 3 Olympics in a row?
Yes.
And the only other person to defend a double or the 100
With a
actually, I
triple.
believe was Carl Lewis. Because 100 people who win the gold in the 100, they normally is one and done throughout history. But then Bolt does it all these times, 303 times, and it we expect it. Everyone clowns Jacobs, who actually had a really good race.
Oh, yes.
Hell of a
He
defense.
made no one would look at the time he ran. Some of the
985.
times of those guys in the back would have won medals in the previous Olympics. Some
Yeah.
of those guys, come on, Jacobs ran a great race. He ran the same way you pointed out. He ran the same way this year as he ran last time. He is the Olympic champion. He defended. He wasn't last. I repeat again. So if the guy who wasn't last was trash, then what?
Yeah.
Okay. So he ran a great race. They all ran a great race. The race time performance itself says what they did. But you have to look at the reality of the situation. Sabini is coming up. The young man that I thought was going to have a much better race,
Omanyala, yeah, didn't even make it to the final.
I thought he was going to have a much better race, but that didn't happen. And with Sabini coming through, more experience, 2 years from now, I don't think they have a world championship next year. I might be wrong, but when they have the next world championship, man, look, you like this, you wait and come back. This is going to be unbelievable on both sides of the men and the women. It's going to be barn burner time.
Tobogo of Botswana had a really good race too. I saw where his top speed was faster than Bolt's world record top speed, but of course Bolt held that forever.
That's a long man.
I mean, Jamaica with Bolt on the men's side, then you had they just were running women on the women's side. They changed up how we view track and field, but now sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
Well, at this moment in time, at the 2024 Paris Olympics, this turned from the evil Jamaicans to the funeral dirge with their funeral caps. All right?
Okay. The comments are going to be crazy.
And I'm not finished. I didn't bother y'all. I'm looking in my bag. Wait a minute. I got a bell pepper. Got a plastic ear of corn. An apple. I don't have no Jamaican gold medal in the sprint.
No. Oh no. Oh, you hate to see it.
And I would like some Maker's Mark. I just want you to know. That's true.
Oh, I got to go back to some of these comments because they were doing both of us dirty. So they were doing us dirty. And we were right. I mean, I wasn't 100% right because I did think Jamaican oblique Seville would do a little bit better than what he did. But we were right to question Kishane.
It's just opinions, people.
It's sprinting. We're talking track.
And if you took everybody who had something to say, which made it great. Now, we really loved it. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun looking at them.
Everybody, we would have had to have 5 people win the gold medal. All right. They don't have 5 gold medals, people. Someone is wrong. Okay. We're putting out opinions. I know I'm always right, but hey.
It was just so crazy because I that's what makes it fun too, is you don't know until they start running. When they start running the heats, you kind of can feel it out a little bit, but you don't know until the final race is over with. You got to run for the medal, because if you had asked me before the final who I thought was going to find the podium, you would not have heard Noah Lyles' name come out my mouth with how he looked running up.
Well, we were talking and you were like, I don't see this there. And after he made the mistake of Noah Lyles came to the Olympics unprepared for the competition. He said it himself. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
What he said was then you came unprepared for the competition. You underestimated them and the people in the semifinals. So you can't not get the estimation correct again until the next time you all meet them in an entire another setting. Even though he won, he won because he was better than them, but they had an opportunity to shut him out and crush his mentality for a very long time, and they missed. Okay?
You can't do that.
Because you can't. If a man comes in and said, I underestimated you all, and I still beat you, I don't know when you're going to get your chance again.
It was just by a clavicle. by a
Wait a minute,
clavicle. You were a
Brandon.
clavicle away.
Yes. And I could just imagine. No, I can't, because I never have been. First, I've never been anything to win that great a thing, and I've never been that fast. But I've had times where it was the last donut on the table, and by the time I came back from the refrigerator with the milk, my sister had eaten it. So I
You
understand that
understand.
feeling. Yes, that crushing defeat, and she's just jaws just going, and you want to just strangle her, but mom will kill you, so you just have to accept the beating and go on.
Oh man, they're just incredible race though. Like track and field. I hope, because we've only focused on the 100. I'm gonna let you talk about something else if you want to talk about it too. But I hope that
Oh,
the sport can carry this forward, and I hope the fans will stick around and follow. And I hope it's made easier to follow track and field in between.
well, good luck with that. Okay.
Oh man!
I've
All
been
right, well, we
doing
covered.
I've been doing this a while, and when the flame goes out,
It's
that'll
gone.
be it. Now, it's in America. Now, not in the
Hell
rest of
yeah.
the world. In America, because Americans are stupid, and plus, Americans haven't figured out how to. They don't bring home. There are coverage in the early morning session with Darrell Hill and Dawn Harper is fantastic. Okay, that's fantastic. They insight into the sport. Uh, Darrell has a mastery of the throws and many other events in the field. He talks. They both have personal experience over decades of competition and have been successful. So, but when you get to the actual broadcast, it's homogenized. Um, and you don't get all of the minor details of that you got in the morning session as to where their head was or what they were doing with their arms. You this time, and NBC has got about 50 billion channels that is clocking around the clock. You catch anything you want. If you have a sport, just on the regular television, we're not talking about on your app or anything, or on just the regular streaming. If you have a sport, underground water diving, they,
I don't know how that one works.
I wanted to see that. But if you have a sport, then you can find it. We don't even have a 30-minute track and field show on television that runs once a month, like the old NFL would have the game of the week. We don't even have the event of the month.
You know what I'm thinking?
So, uh,
They need to give us the Snoop Dogg money to
yes,
do it.
give us a piece of the money. But yes,
Yes.
this is if you I don't think that one of our premier shows that does sports with the season that they normally, because I'm not going to crap on anybody else's season or anybody else's channel except to crap on them without crapping on them, but the greatest events with the greatest athletes in the entire world, the greatest event with the men and women who are going to be crowned the greatest male and female athletes until the next Olympics. If you can go on their channel, and if you can find, which they say they are the worldwide leaders in whatever, sports or athletics, and it's not just their station, and if you can find the Olympic 100 meters last 9.72 seconds, and I bet you can't find them ran the whole race. And if you only got one race, you definitely didn't get anything else with the Olympics outside of a Simone Biles landing. That's all you got of her. You got a little strip running through the bottom, and that's it. There is nothing going on that channel. Now they're going to say that, well, the people don't want it. I'm not a fool now. If you put 8 channels of effort into the Olympic Games and you put a streaming service in place and this new thing you got that's got its own name on an app, and you tell me you did all of that as a public service, I have to wait through 3 minutes of commercials, sometimes 5, just to get back to the event.
Mm.
So until we can find some way or someone finds a way to get before the public, and I don't think we're going to ever do it on a national scale, it'll have to start off like they did wrestling in the Southeast, where you got somebody in a city or a state doing it. And then it starts to go from state to state, and they syndicate it, and it gets on before the public. Because it's never, ever, never, never, if you wait for the major networks. And until we can get, I see cornhole championship is on, and I know cornhole has been on TV more times than track and field, and this thing called Omega Ball that I can't even figure out what is that. And I saw one time people were throwing a ball on a trampoline and trying to catch it. Now, someone has to stop. I'm finished.
I think that is what I enjoyed about the response we got to the preview. Even though we did get some people who did accuse us of many things that are untrue or can't be proven.
They can't be proven. You can't prove that.
The passion that came through about track and field was something I really enjoyed, and interacting with people who were passionate about track and field. Like, it was just refreshing and made me think like, oh, because you do hear that from the bigger channels. Hey, this doesn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work. Whatever. Moving forward, if you don't find track and field on this channel, I don't know. Someone's kidnapped me. I responded to the wrong comment in the preview talking trash, and someone's kidnapped me.
It's been great. I love track and field. It's been my life. My work is track and field is my life, my work. That's my career. My family, they know it's track time. My late wife, Aisha loved track and field, and Aisha was her father is Jamaican, her mother's from South Carolina, and Aisha roots for the Jamaicans. So we're in the bedroom or in the living room, and she's talking trash. And I'm like, you are an American, and she's like, no, I'm Jamaican. But to have to find out that there is on a scale, people love the track and field. Track and field is the second most participated sport in high school in America. And the only reason football has the most participation is because they need more athletes to play. Track and field in college, if it is not the most participated in sport, it's football because of the same reason.
Same reason.
So there is an audience in America, period, for track and field. You go to any state championship or any youth championship, and you see the great grandmamas and the cousins and the uncles and aunts and the kids, and you're out there from 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock until 7 o'clock in the afternoon or evening before you leave the track. That's all you have to say. So one day we will get there, but we aren't there at the moment. The rest of the world is way ahead of us with the enjoyment. And it just needs an explanation to the people so that they understand the sport. They just see people get out of the blocks and run. They don't know the intricacies of getting through phases and what is actually going on. And then the same thing with the throws. They have no idea of what is going on. They don't know the preparation that it takes in order to get to that point. And while you're doing that, how it takes you to be focused in order to move through those things at the speed that you're moving through them. So we don't have that at the moment, but we'll get there.
I hope so. And I hope We get paid a lot of money, you and me, to do it.
What? Yes,
So
man. I might wear a hat.
we've covered track and field network, the 100s. Is there anything else you want to cover before we get out of here? I know you
If
got
you
a
saw the
grandfather.
women's 5,000, if you didn't see the women's 5,000, go back and see the 5,000. Fantastic race. I hope Kippagon doesn't get kicked out of it because she did grab Sagai, but Sagai should have, and Sagai had a right to squeeze her off. Wasn't any room on the rail. So I'm just throwing my cards out as the 200 for women. Make sure you see the 200 final for women. Noah Lyles is still on record-breaking alert in the 200. I didn't believe that track was fast. I still don't believe it's as fast, but I'm not an athlete and on the track, and a lot of the athletes are saying that the track is fast. If the track is as fast as they're going, he's going to break the world's record. Get mad if you want. I don't care. And the Americans might sweep the 200 for men. That's the other thing that might happen. I'm waiting to see the men's steeplechase. My guy, Ibakali from Morocco. Don't ask me why I like him, but I've been following him since 2018, and I want him to get this medal. I know that Gadai is in there. For the women, they're going to have a good 10,000. Hassan probably is going to come back. You said Hassan might run the marathon. And that, let me go through the rest so that I make sure I got all that I wanted. Hodgkinson's this time has already won the women's 800. So I will say this. Hodgkinson from Great Britain will win the women's 800. She will pull away from them going down the straightaway and win an Olympic gold medal.
Amazing that you predict that.
I will tell you that, being in full disclosure, I have already heard the finals in that race.
There's an amazing prediction coming from you. I do have news. So it looks like at the time of this recording, Kip Yegon was DQ'd. Hassan was bumped up to silver.
Yes, I believe that she has her hand, actually. Before we came on, I told you I thought she might get DQ'd.
Yeah.
Because you could actually see in slow motion that she had her fingers around her arm. If she had just
in a grasp,
then she wouldn't have gotten DQ'd. But that's a grab, and she pulled it. The grab would have been enough. But the pulling, that's impairment, and that was the correct call to make.
Wow. And then another breaking news, Mondo Duplantis, new world record, 6.25 meters.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that I said it, because I don't want people saying I say things that I said. But so I said it, and he's going to break the world's record many more times, but little teeny bits at a time.
He gets a payment.
He gets more money. Yes.
Yep. Smart. We're going to let him negotiate the TV deal for us.
Hey, I don't know if Sam Kendricks finished in the medals, but I think he was jumping pretty well. But
he was badly.
When I left, he had not. So
we'll see if we can get an update. Not that,
Camacho Quinn from Charleston, I expect her to win the women's 100 hurdles. I expect the American team, even though the young lady from America is the world leader, I think they're a little young. And I wouldn't be surprised if most of them get knocked out in the semis. But my money, Camacho Quinn is a good-sized young lady. And she's dropped the baby fat that she had before. And if you're not finished at 60, at the 6th hurdle, if you're not out there really at the 5th hurdle, you're gone then. She's going to walk you down. She's got great experience. She is the Olympic champion, and she failed in her first Olympics in the semis. So she's already worked through that. She's deadly, and she didn't have to come through rounds like the Americans. Holloway should win the men's 100. I still always afraid of that long looping arm that he's got, but he's been trying to work on it. He's been working on it, and I don't think there's anybody in that race that can take his medal. I don't believe it's going to be a world record time, but I believe he'll win.
Kendrick's silver in the pole vault. Kendrick's got silver.
All right, that's very good. He worked hard, and he's going to be getting a lot of silver because he's in the same generation with Mondo Duplantis. So he's going to have to get used to that. Okay, yes. There is no other thing he can do except get silver. Now, I know all kinds of things can happen, but if Mondo leg doesn't fall off, and you all know that's my favorite term, unless Mondo legs fall off, or one of them, or at least his foot.
And I'd still have to see it.
Be able to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's about the American. I don't really follow the American 400, so I don't know if the 400 is going to be really good. Santos is my sneaker pick for the 400 hurdles over Wilhelm and Benjamin.
Ooh.
Yes, I believe Santos is going to upset the apple cart. Under the radar, nobody paying attention, and he's going to ambush them.
Man, well, I do think we covered it all this time. I can't imagine what you would have to take offense to here. Why would you jump in the comments other than to tell us you were going to email NBC to pay us to come to LA in 2028?
I have no idea what could be wrong with the people this time.
Oh, okay? Man.
My goodness gracious. Well, let me put these things back.
Yeah, you got to take those back to the grocery store. Your bell pepper.
That's correct. I can't afford the dang. Actually, oh man, I got to pay for that apple.
Coach,
Brandon,
always
thanks
good
for having me. Everyone, keep up with what's going on. God bless everyone out there. Brandon, keep doing what you're doing, and I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, Coach Grandfather Johnson about to go. I know he's about to go through it. I already know he's losing this battle.
Brother.
But check him out on Facebook, Herbert Johnson Track and Field Academy on Facebook. This has been another episode of Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. He needs to get me a shirt. He will soon. Appreciate y'all watching, listening, rating, subscribing, reviewing, commenting especially. And I will catch y'all later.